How do you avoid being another set of parents?
Well, I think that you have to have it clear that you're not another set of parents. Your adult children are the parents of your grandchildren, and a grandparent has a very different role to an actual parent. And I think understanding that helps you not to step over the line in an unhelpful way.
I think that's important, because what you don't want is different voices pulling in different directions. Yeah. And you don't want to undermine your children as parents. And they've probably grown up with a different set of ideas, cultural norms and background, and may have a clear idea of what they want to do in terms of their parenting, which may be different to yours. Yeah. And therefore you want to be on the same page as they do. So you want to be listening to them, understanding them, reinforcing what they're looking to do as parents, and not contradicting that or just saying, well, this is the way I think you should be bringing up your children, and pulling against them.
So if I get to it right, we need to be listening to our adult children on how they want to raise.
Yes, and I think it's one of those role reversals as parents, because that's the time there's a time in life when you say to your children, you're not going out dressed like that. There's another time in life when you're a bit older where your children say to you, Dad, you're not going out dressed like that. And you realise your roles have changed. And they're more style conscious, and they're making you look younger again and more with it and up to date, and even some of the words you use that are so out of date. So this also comes into play with parenting as well. There is a point when things turn around and you're supporting them, they are leading, they're taking the initiative, and you've got to help them form what they're doing, but you're not cutting across them with the children in front of them or when they're not there.
Yeah, I think it's like, if you can remember back to when you were parents of young children, you take things, you watch things that other people do, you remember things that your own parents did, and some things you think, I definitely want that to be part of my parenting style, and some things you think, I would never do that, and your own children are going to do the same. And of course you've got in-laws in the mix there. Your son, your daughter have married somebody else who's had their own upbringing and their own way of doing things. And I think the important thing to remember is that, a preference is not the same as a sort of a written law in the Bible or something, and we often have preferences about how we might do things, but they don't really matter. And so we as grandparents shouldn't impose things on our children or be strongly opinionated with them, because they're needing to find their own way and how they want to parent, and we need to respect that and back them up in it, really. Yeah. I don't think it's for us to interfere, unless you really thought a child was at serious risk of harm or something. We have to recognise that a lot of what we feel may be our personal preference, and there are other ways of doing things, and they're not wrong.
Yes, I think that's a key point. Difference isn't necessarily wrong. And of course, our children, like in your case, are growing up on another continent, in a different country. In a different country to the country that you're in right now, and the country they're originally from. So they've got multiple continents and multiple countries to bring all those traditions and all those backgrounds together. So the way their parenting is going to shape up in this new setting is different to anything any of us have been involved in. So we have to try and understand that and help them and work with them to put together a good way of parenting based on all the things they've known, but where they now live as well. So there's a very different mixture of cultures and backgrounds there that they will have absorbed, and their parenting will reflect all of that, I think.
That's true.